all of you for taking a couple of days from your summer break to be here in what could have turned into one another academic activity, but it has not. It has turned into a fraternity. It has turned into hopefully a learning experience for all of you and all of the TAs involved, myself included. And more than anything, it has turned into an enrichment activity where we have come to understand, again, myself included, what JSA really is about, how it started, the values, the principles that we want to you to go back to your respective schools and transmit and espouse. I have met, a wonderful group of teachers that have, invigorated my desire to continue with JSA, because I can see that my struggles are their struggles. So I'm not as crazy. Or maybe they're just crazier than I am. And that is comforting in a sense. But more than anything, I have seen how much every one of you is invested into JSA and how much you wanted to continue to succeed. And as a teacher, there is nothing more empowering than that. Having said that, going forward and looking, towards the future of JSA, I want you to understand the responsibility you have in your hands. And I want you to understand, hopefully, how powerful you are as a group and individually. I want you to understand that even though some of you may not make it to cabinet in your respective schools, you still are a citizen of the Montezuma state. And hopefully after this weekend, you now understand what that really means. I didn't understand much of it until, this past couple of days. And for that, I have Debbie to thank, and many of the JSA founders and alumni that took the time to be with us here during this weekend. But you really need to understand that the future of JSA lies in your hands, but the future of this country lies in your shoulders. So there's a lot for you to do. And for those of you that are senior students coming this next school year, and this is going to be your last year in high school and your last year with JSA, it doesn't end when you graduate. You have a responsibility much bigger than the underclassmen, because your job is to take what you learn in JSA to your adult life and to apply it once you move on after high school, and to become the best citizen that you can be, and to transmit the values and the principles of tolerance and respect and freedom of speech, because JSA gives you a voice, and it gives you maybe the center stage, and maybe the confidence that you need, and maybe the courage that you didn't know that you had to speak up for somebody else that might be in need. And right now, I cannot think of any other time in the history, in the modern history of the United States, where the political climate is more ripe for change than it is nowadays. And you are the agents of change in the future. My generation will just have to push through, but you are going to spearhead the change. You are going to be the engine, because at no point in our history have we needed more diversity, but at the same time, more cohesiveness in our government. I hope you understand how deeply divided our country is right now and how much we need your input. And I want you to look to the person next to you, and I want you to understand how different we are, but how much we can do together as a country. I want you to understand that what Joshua talked about, and that is his reality, doesn't make him any worse of a student than anybody else. If anything, I hope it turns into a motivation for you to want to succeed and for you to break the cycle, okay? For those of you that might have it easier, I want you to understand the fights of others, because the United States is a land of immigrants, and the United States is a land of people that...
It's okay.
I grew up in a country where there was no freedom of speech, where speaking up could cost your life. And I am proud to be part of JSA. And my own children, not my students, those two punks that I brought to the world are part of JSA, and they will be JSAers, because JSA gives them a voice. And that is what I want you to understand that you have. And I want you to understand that you have a privilege that so many people around the world have been stripped of. So run with it, become agents of change. And even when you do graduate, don't forget JSA, come back. When you come back to your hometowns for Thanksgiving, for Christmas break, visit your high school. Make it a point to visit one of the meetings of the JSA chapter you left behind, and come and speak to them. It will be so empowering, and it will be so inspiring for those underclassmen to see how far you've gone because you are going to become their example. So I hope this weekend has meant for you what it has meant for me, because I will be a JSAer for years to come. Okay, so have a great summer.